Thanks for joining this afternoon. What I'd like to present this afternoon is BioDrop, which is a brand new product for doing microvolume measurements in almost any spectrophotometer. So, as you know, microvolume spectroscopy has become very, very important recently. And the goal is to really measure small volumes of DNA, 260, 280 nanometers, to check for concentration of the DNA and also for purity, how much protein is left behind. And these are measurements where historically making good measurements has always been very, very difficult. So what we've done is we've introduced this new product. It's called BioDrop, and it's the first in a series of products we're going to be bringing out, and it's focused on microvolume measurements. So it comes in a nice packaging, and if you open the product up, you'll see, first of all, that it is consisting of 2 microvolume cuvettes with different path lengths and some other accessories that we use to make the measurements. So, most important of all, when we think about spectroscopy, it's about shining light through the sample. And the more light you shine through the sample, the better the measurements you will make. So there are some products in the market already. Some have quite complicated optics, or in some cases the aperture is very, very small that the light is shining through. And so what happens is you lose most of the light as you go through the device. On this product, as you can see, it has a very large aperture. There's almost no light lost in this device. So you get 10 times more light through this device, which means you can make a measurement over a range 10 times greater. Okay? In use, the product is very, very simple. It opens into 2 halves. They are held together magnetically. You pipette onto this small window in the center of the metal circle, and then you simply put the top piece back on. The bottom piece is mounted in a little membrane, spring-loaded membrane, so any excess liquid is pushed out from the sample area, so you're guaranteed you'll always have the sample with a path length that's accurate within 4 microns. So just to put it into perspective, with the 0.5 millimeter path length device, that basically means you make measurements with an accuracy better than 1%. Okay, put the device in, you make your measurements, and then you simply take it apart, wipe off with a dry cloth, and it's clean, and you're ready to go to make the next measurements. So one of the things that's often the case on these devices is when you're pipetting into small areas, holding the area that you're going to pipette onto still is very important. So a lot of things like quartz cuvettes, for example, this device here, which is a small quartz cuvette, trying to pipette onto this and hold it steady is really quite difficult. So we've thought about this on the product, and one of the things, because it's magnetically loaded, you can actually put the device onto the top, and it will hold it steady while you're pipetting. So the top of the box actually forms part of the instrument. You set it up, you pipette on, and then you make your measurements. Again, it's held clearly together by magnets, so it's really firmly in place. There's going to be no leakage. The sample is retained inside that, no evaporation or anything else. One last thing. The single biggest error that comes up when you're doing microvolume measurements is the presence of dust and bubbles in the sample. Normally you vortex the sample before you put it into the machine, but there's dust and so on. And so what we've done is we included what we call a bubble viewer, which is a unique accessory that allows you to take your cuvette loaded with the sample, insert it into the device, and then you can look through the lens and you'll see a magnified image of the sample area. So you can see exactly what's there. You can see if there's bubbles or dust or anything kind of contamination that's going to impact the measurement result. Bear in mind, 1 speck of dust is equal to the detection limit on most microvolume solutions. A bubble could be 100 nanogram per microliter error on a DNA measurement, so it's a very, very significant kind of error that you can get. This is the only solution on the market today that allows you to look at the sample and clearly see what's actually going on before you put it into your spectrophotometer. So that's it. That's BioDrop. It's a very, very simple product, presented in a nice, elegant carry case, full instructions, and a memory stick which has got methods and manuals and videos on it. Okay, we're going to make a measurement now.
We have this is a magnetic plate on the top where we actually do testing. I take one of these. So I'll take the 500, so that's the 0.5 millimeter test length version. Just open it up, and then it sits really nicely just on there. So I'm actually using one of our AHN electronic pipettes to do this. What you do? Pipette onto there. Goes together. And I've preloaded a method into here, so I can just run it. Okay, and that's as simple as that.
Well, there's a number of solutions out there for doing microbody measurements today. Some of them are dedicated instruments where you have to buy a complete machine to do the task, and some of them are cuvettes or adapters that go into existing spectrophotometers. And they've all got some kind of compromise in the measurements. The ones that are dedicated instruments, you've got the expense of a complete instrument, and in most cases they've got lots of moving parts which require calibration over time or wear, and so getting the extremely accurate path length of those devices is quite difficult. And the devices like adapters, like cuvette adapters that go into existing spectrophotometers, you know, the issue there is trying to get the light through a very, very small aperture and trying to make something that's easy to clean. And so what we sought to do with BioDrop was to produce a product which really overcame as many of those disadvantages as possible. So firstly, no moving parts, and the way it's designed pretty much guarantees for life that the accuracy of the path length to within about a 4 microns stability. Secondly, lots of light through the device. In spectroscopy, it's all about shining light through your sample. The more light that goes through the sample, the better the measurements you will make. And so this device lets something like 10 times more light through the sample than you would get with a standard cuvette adapter. The benefits to the user are very, very simple actually. Firstly, it's extremely accurate, and secondly, it's extremely easy to use. And so, you know, cleanliness and all those kind of things all are part of that, just extreme ease of use. So you literally just open the device, pipette onto it, put it in the spectrophotometer, make the measurement, and that's it. Cleaning is easy. You know, and compared to some of the solutions that are out there, particularly quartz cuvettes, where you can spend ages trying to clean the device, you know, this is just, it's just a breeze to use. And actually, you know, part of it was also the packaging. We wanted to make the packaging look really, very nice. In a way, I suppose what we're trying to do is make the product actually quite fun to use. Because a lot of these products, they're sold in brown bags, they're all grey, and so, you know, we just thought, let's make it a fun, make it a cool product. Well, it's actually a nice story. It's an English invention. It's patented in Cambridge, and it's a collaboration between a number of different companies, both from BioDrop, which provided a lot of the expertise on spectroscopy, and then a number of other companies in the area of Cambridge for this extreme precise microfabrication. We've used industrial designers to make the design right, because again, you know, even simple things like the shape of the handle at the top is very, very important to make sure that when you're putting it into the spectrophotometer, you get a good grip. Often the samples these can get slightly wet, and you're using plastic gloves, and so getting a good grip is really, really important. So industrial design, microfabrication, sales and marketing expertise with our marketing partners, and so, you know, this is something that's all been generated within quite a small radius around the Cambridge area. So the product's actually launched at ArabLab, which is, I think a lot of people will think it's a rather strange place to launch a product. But you know, we see ArabLab as a really good exhibition, partly because we get some good end users coming through, but also we get lots of our distributors coming through the show as well, particularly not just for the Middle Eastern countries, but also a lot of distributors from the Far East, India, Pakistan, those kind of countries. So from our perspective, it's an excellent opportunity to get to meet our distributors. And also there's a really growing life sciences industry in the Gulf states, which we want to be part of. So that's where our initial launch has taken place, and then we're going to have will be Analytica, which is next month in Germany, which I think will be an even bigger show. We're there on the stand with our partner company AHN Biotechnologies from Germany, and then through the year we've actually got a number of other product launches we're going to be working on, which we'll bring out at further shows: Acuma, Analytica in Shanghai, and then lastly the Medica show in Düsseldorf later in the year. Go to www.biodrop.co.uk for more information. There's some nice application stories there, some nice videos showing how the product works. We've got some great brochures that really show the beautiful specification of the product. When you see this, you'll realize that it's not just a nice product, but it's very easy to use, very accurate, and something that we think is going to be an essential part of most life scientists' tool set over the coming years.